Okay, so here we are still with Red November. Got to decide what to do with this red gnome. Well, he's near something that could be pumped out. That might be a good idea. I don't know how big a deal a little bit of flooding is, but it could get worse. I'd rather take care of those fires. But without a fire extinguisher, that's tough to say the least. Let me see what the rules for entering a room without a fire extinguisher are. I remember that being a problem. Yeah, that's right. You need booze in order to enter a room without a fire extinguisher. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend one to open this door. And then I move in for free. And now, well, how big a deal is this? I'm not going to be too worried about it. I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4, get me the next item. Which means I only succeed on a 4 or less. But that's not quite half the pile, because 0s and 10s here. That doesn't work. Looks like I only get 1 draw off that though. Hatch blocked. Alright, we get a random block. Room 4. This is kind of a problem. I'm going to put it in my entrance to room 4 because the other entrances are more accessible to everyone. And now I get an item draw. And I got some booze so I can go fighting fires soon. I don't know how much I want to keep going in detail here. I think I'm going to kind of step back and play a little bit more and just not zoom in on the actions that are happening one by one. So we got yellow going next, and I'll come in when it gets exciting. Well, yellow put out a fire down here. No, this isn't exciting. One tried to erupt here, but then one erupted here as well. So it's kind of a things just keep going wrong, and that's sort of the game. You can often keep a balance among what's wrong. Right now it doesn't feel too bad, but eventually things go really wrong and you get these kind of moments of panic where you have to deal with a real emergency. And I've found at least this is, we've played, my wife and I played twice apparently, and I playing this once. It almost always feels like the 4 gnomes is a pretty good solution. But I know we lost the first time we played, so yeah, there is still some difficulty to this. And of course, you could do things to enhance the difficulty level of the game. There's little tweaks, if that was desirable. Personally, this is more in for the, oh no, look, something else is wrong. And I think it gives you a decent chance of winning. For green's turn, well, this space just got flooded on blue's turn. Blue pumped this out. I think this space then got flooded. Green opened the door and then tried to pump it out. He couldn't stay in there. He had to open the door and let the water out. When he did that, well, he had an 8 chance of doing so, got a 9, failed. And then we're starting to see these tracks moving up, which is this is where it's getting to be kind of a problem building up. I can't just worry about the fires and the leaks. I've got to worry about these other things. For example, this track. I want to drop that track if I can. Just because you don't want it to pass this. But I don't really need to do it right away, and it just gets really... There's kind of the, well, what do I do? Do I do that now because I'm here? I could spend just a couple actions and get a die roll on that, and I've got a book for it, so that's not bad. It's just a lot of tough little decisions. Well, things keep getting worse and worse. We just did yellow, and he pumped out a room, but spent enough actions. He had 3 draws from the pile. Ends up boosting the heat up a little high. That's going to be this room. Red can't get there. Green can. Blocked more hatch. Another hatch. It's getting so that, like, blue, who's up next, has nowhere they can go. They got to pop a hatch to get anywhere at this point. And Blue managed to pop that hatch, but he only had a 4 chance. Only took a 4 on the die roll. It's kind of a chancy thing, especially since if a fire broke out here, he could be dead if somebody doesn't rescue him. But then what do we have? More problems show up mainly with these tracks. You can see they're filling up, getting to the point where somebody's got to do something about the core problems and stop putting out fires. Early in the game, I didn't have a lot of fires. Now, with the fires, with the flooding and everything, the sub's really getting to be in trouble, I think. Well, things look like they're getting tough enough that the old gnome adage, when the going gets tough, the tough start drinking, is going to come to mind. I'm going to start with Red. He's going to guzzle himself some of this. I got to worry a little bit about it. But then 2 doors open, passing into here. He couldn't even go in there without the booze. Now he's got a +3 to fix the fire, and that's kind of cool. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll put it up to 10, make it guaranteed that he gets that fire out of the way. Yeah, I know. That's kind of ugly, but I don't know why I'm rolling. It was risky. But I put out the fire by pouring some alcohol on it. Now I've got a problem. I'm not sure which order it's done in, whether the events happen before the effect of passing out. I gotta look that sucker up. Looks like passing, yeah, the faint check happens first, so I draw one of these. And I got a 2, that means I'm fairly safe. So, now I've got my events. 1, looks like, and yeah, the board, the tiny board is kind of annoying. I'm going to have 2 events, and then another event. Descent, that's pressure, that's this. Hatch closed. Yeah, things just keep going worse and worse. Room 5. Ugh. I don't like that. Yeah. I don't know where to put it though otherwise. I gotta be able to get to the missile if things go bad there, so I don't want to do that. Ugh. I think this is my best choice. Now I get a draw. And yeah, I'm going in too much detail here. Because I just came back. Whoa, he's got like a beer stein or something. What the hell's that? Coffee. Excellent. There's a star there as well. I should have hit that, right? No, I already hit that one. Okay, and one more star. Oxygen pumps down. Timed event. Put the asphyxiation at +10. Now luckily for me that'll be +10 from here. This is asphyxiation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got a lot of time to deal with that. But that's not a great thing to have happen, right? Alright, let's see what else we have going. But, you know, the one thing I wanted to show is the alcohol. He's now got this issue. He drinks again, it becomes more likely that he passes out. Of course, he has the coffee, he could cure himself, but unless he's going to drink again, it doesn't really matter, probably. Well, Blue went in here and fixed the asphyxiation issue, as well as reducing that. He had a book for it. Okay, all good and well. He pumped himself up 10. Here's one of the places where the game gets a little weird if you think about it too much. He probably started fixing that before the issue arose, because the issue arose over here. He's just past it. But now we have a missile count. You can kind of ignore it, but there is sort of the timing issues don't quite work. I don't see any way of fixing it. But now we got a missile countdown. We're about to launch a thermonuclear gnomish war, and I'm sure that's going to be bad. On the green gnome's turn, he jumps all the way up here. He went and fixed the engines, But now we had a problem where we pushed the heat up above where it could be fixed easily. So what that means is the first fix only gets us down to this star. It's going to take two turns worth of fixing to get it down below, down to where I wanted it. Well, one, to get it where I wanted to try fixing it. Ended up lucking out. This door ended up getting locked again. So it's kind of cool. If you roll a room that's completely locked, you get filled up there. But I've got this thing to worry about, and Yellow had better deal with that. Luckily, he's got a rubber ducky, so that should be able to at least avoid some hazards. Not boosting the repair rolls up to a 10 and using tools, Blue failed to fix the reactor, and then Red went in and got a repair, but now we're still only here. We've still got to do another repair to get it down. That puts Green up next, and what's he up to? What he probably wants to do is, I don't know, maybe pop a door or something. It's dangerous to have all those doors locked. It's also dangerous to have fires and stuff. We had a fire reoccur here that just ended up pumping asphyxiation up. So here's one of the interesting points in the game. I had a crowbar. I popped that door open. I had a die roll 3 for the crowbar, plus 2 for actions, 5. I got it open. Okay, great. The reason I went up to 5, I could have done it at 4, and I would have succeeded in that case as well. I'm keeping it low because these are kind of low value operations. I got to do something. I might as well pop this door rather than spend time opening doors and moving through lots of rooms. I might as well get rid of this minor problem. Maybe I can get rid of the flooding. Okay, but I wanted to spend 2 so that I go after Blue here, because I want to let Blue have a chance to fix this. I didn't want to spend more than that, and I want to push myself way ahead. Getting one gnome way out in advance of all the others makes it kind of tough to operate. So a lot of times you want to take a very small action when there's nothing really vital to do, just to make sure you don't jump out ahead of the other gnomes. Okay, on to Blue. And here was a problem. Red had the fix bonus for the reactor. He's got a +4 die roll. But I had to do the Blue next, and whatever I did with Blue was going to potentially trigger something off. Now, I ended up trying to fix that very reactor, and I went high enough up but did not automatically succeed. I should have gone up to a 10 and said the hell with it, but I took a decent chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Figure, hey, I got more than 50-50. Failed, and then not only got a fire, which increased asphyxiation, no biggie there, but I also got a reactor heat up, which has made this hard again. Dumb me. We pushed around a little bit, spreading some water here. Green went in here. They had a reactor book they used and solved that problem. The sub's in pretty good shape right now, but here's the problem. Now the Kraken gets reshuffled back into the deck, or shuffled into the discard pile, which means we've got another big problem floating out there that could come after us. This is one of the kind of neat things. You could, of course, put the Kraken in the early deck to make the game more challenging. One of a number of little ways you could kind of make this a little harder. Another way might be to, I don't know, have a little marker trailing behind, triggering more events to increase the rate of events slightly. Say 10 spaces behind the last guy or something like that. It'll always maintain that position. So you get an additional little sequence of events running as though you had another character on the board. Because I do think it is not that challenging, to tell you the truth. Alright, let's reshuffle the deck. Okay, now you see something kind of weird. Everybody's stacked together. This is something I kind of like doing. First of all, I think it optimizes the game to have all your gnomes, or all the gnomes, because it's meant to be a multiplayer game, at the same time or very close to it. So there's no harm in that. But what I'm doing, or what I was doing, was trying to pop this door over here open. So Red and then Green both went. Just spending one action, giving themselves a 1 in 10 chance. Basically, yeah, I could spend 10 actions and guarantee it, but the more small actions that you take, well, there's a chance that you get this little activity. Now it becomes a little harder to decide. There isn't anything really pressing to go on. I would like yellow to drain this because that's going to be a pain in the butt if another missile launch comes up. But those are rarer than the things that need to be handled towards the back of the sub. In terms of what's over here, this water should be drained. Some of the fires and water should be fixed. But popping doors is such a minor thing, and that's where I am. I don't have to spend any movement. I can just spend the one action at the chance at doing that. The problem here with blue, who's up next, is when he does it, he gets a star now. He's going to get a draw off of it. So then it becomes kind of, well, if I'm going to get a draw anyway, I might as well do 2 or something like that. That's kind of the argument that comes into my mind. But you don't really want to trigger a lot of events. If things are kind of good, try to keep them quiet, right? I don't know. I'm going to load this one up. I think I've got enough time left to justify another full video.